Hello. Give me a moment. All right. How goes it? Welcome to a very special early office hours. Early in the sense of it's happening on Wednesday instead of Thursday. And I'll go over the reason why here shortly. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Camera on. Hello, my name is Paul Berserker01, Batman Shelley, your humble host and space bartender here at the AstroPub, your space bar at the end of the universe. Sit back, relax, enjoy the show. Got a good one for you. How you doing? You were too quick? What do you mean you were too quick? How y'all doing? You typed in chat before chat was up, yeah. According to CIG, they were planning on having something done tonight, so it may or may not still happen. It is fairly late here in the US, but it's extremely late for people in the UK. We're test 2 tonight. I would be surprised, but I wouldn't. I wouldn't like. This is probably the last we're going to see of 4.0 until CIG is done with CitizenCon. So, well, the problem is that like they're doing Bar Citizens. So like Bar Citizen started last night, and I guarantee you, CIG employees are just schlocked. They're not going to be working. Do I have a set schedule? I do. I try to keep to it as best as possible. Generally speaking, my schedule is Wednesday and Thursdays at 7 p.m. Central, so 8 p.m. Eastern. Fridays, I try to go a little earlier because I do co-op streams with Loken Plays called Pub and Plays. I usually go about an hour earlier than that, so like 7 p.m. Eastern. But we almost never play Star Citizen. We sometimes play Star Citizen. And then on Saturdays and Sundays, I stream at noon. Or 1 p.m. Eastern. So.
You can take away my spaceship.
Spaceship.
You can take away my space suit.
Suit.
You can even take away my space lasers.
No pew-pews.
But you can never, ever take away my space game.
Harabek_weather, just resubscribed for 6 months. I'm on the hopium that they'll push a patch Friday to run over the weekend, then they'll push for wave 1 at the end of next week.
Thank you so much, Harabek, for that 6 months of support. You're very important, Pupper. Very impressive, very pedestrian. This is your fault. The return for good night. Shots and cheers to chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. Yeah, that's some heavy hopium. So if they're pushing stuff today, which they may not do, because I haven't heard anything at all since they talked about it earlier, like yesterday. Yeah, I haven't seen anything. Let me check the That's way too fast for a patch cycle. Well, it depends, Darsh. The thing is that they really have been testing 4.0 in pieces for a while. So a lot of what would normally cause issues with 4.0 or for the patch may be mitigated. by what they've done before. And it's clear that CIG is experimenting. So, all right, so I'm looking through message of the day. There is absolutely no message of the day that I can see that has anything to do with 4.0. Yeah, there was a message earlier, but I don't see it on the here we go. I'll show you. So this is the testing chat. All it says is new 3.2.4.2 build is now open for all backers. That's it. Oh, if it's the other ones, okay. With the tech preview done for 4.0 and 3.24 being like half of 4.0, I got the Hopium drop. I do think that CIG is still going to try to get 4.0 out before IAE, because I think that they really want to get 4.0 out with the Polaris. No, we're not going to see 4.0 go live at CitizenCon. That's insanity. That is not happening. I do think that they'll announce that they're going to go to Wave 1 later that week, which would sort of make sense, or at least they'll mention that they're working on it. Greetings from Orlando. Hope to see you at CitizenCon. You will not, unfortunately, Timball, because I am not going to CitizenCon this year. I was planning on going to CitizenCon, and I had everything lined up. I had paid for the tickets and paid for everything else. And then I had a medical issue that has stolen all of my holidays. Well, not all of my holidays, but the holidays I needed to be able to go. So. Hey, Kimmy. Yeah. That's a shitty part. It's the worst reason to not go. It's like, oh, well, I need to support my family and I can't take the days off. America. Yeah, 4.0 will hit live when all their big boosters can play it, not when their big boosters and fans are at Celebration. Nah, the CIG never really has catered to that idea. I think if CIG could hit 4.0 live, they'd hit 4.0 live. There's absolutely no way that CIG is kowtowing to content creators and whales. I saw you say that earlier. What are you worried about, fearing, or I really hope CIG doesn't, etc., concerning CitizenCon? I mean, the reality is that CIG is walking into CitizenCon with a disadvantage. Oh, you're talking about like the developers. Yeah, most of the developers are at CitizenCon. They're not going to launch 4.0 while the people who need to be there to fight fires are at CitizenCon and probably drunk. Hey, Citizen Joel. Is there a new MISC ship coming up? I did notice something on the internet, but is it true? There's leaks, and leaks are not true until they're released, until they are. Did I check what I needed? Sort of. Execute and Algrid were like, we're going to do this thing today, and we're going to do a thing today where we're going to stream expectations for CitizenCon as a way of testing our equipment to see if everything worked. And Algrid and Execute were like, no, we can't do that. We're going to try to do it tomorrow. And I'm like, but it's the release of MechWarrior 5 Clans. I was going to stream that, but now I can't. So Algrid and Execute owe me that. Because it's more important that I get the technology set up than it is for me to stream clans. I can stream clans later. It was just a nice chance to, you know, break out of the Star Citizen bubble for a bit. Apparently it's like 28 hours of gameplay. 28-hour game, single-player game. It's 5-player co-op. It's not bad. I've heard that MechWarrior 5 doesn't support joystick, so I don't imagine that MechWarrior 5 Mercs or MechWarrior 5 Clans does. Yeah, see that's the thing. It's like they were originally going to release it 2 weeks ago, and I was like, perfect timing. I can get some clans in. I can play with while all the lull is happening, and then they're like, no, we're going to drop it right before CitizenCon. I'm like, go fuck yourself, PGI. But I meant what you said. You needed to check something to be able to show up on my 48-hour stream after CitizenCon. Oh, I need to check with Cam. And I also need to check some other things, because like I'm going to be streaming it live, so I'm going to be starting at 3 a.m. my time and going until about noon my time, probably on about 6 hours of sleep, if that. And then I'm going to be going on Saturday, and then I'm going to do the same thing on Sunday. So. Caffeine will help, but caffeine is not a replacement for sleep. MechWarrior 5 does support joystick, but it's really hard to get set up if you haven't had anything aside from the basic Pressmaster joystick. I'd heard that there was only mod support for it, but... Now, a couple of things we need to understand. Number one, CIG has already committed to releasing 3.24.2 tomorrow. So we're going to see 3.24.2, aka Diet 4.0, will be out tomorrow, so they can do all of their ship releases at CitizenCon. And then 4. 4.0 sugar. Yeah, then 4.0 classic after CitizenCon. Yeah. And then, yeah, we'll see. Now, I was saying earlier, someone's like, well, what am I concerned about? I'm not really concerned about CitizenCon. CitizenCon is going to be CitizenCon. It's always going to be hype and hype filled. I think two things are really going to happen. Number one, there's no way that this CitizenCon is as good as last year's CitizenCon. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be worse or anything. I'm just going to say it's not the same. It's nowhere near the same level of perfect storm that hit last year. I don't care what CIG shows. There's no way that that the reaction is going to be as visceral as it was last year. Elliot is hyping CitizenCon so hard. Well, Elliot, if Elliot is in chat, he's not, but if he gets in chat, and if anybody is watching this who's at CitizenCon right now, if you're a CIG developer, I'm going to say this, and don't take this the wrong way. It's put up or shut up. Showing pretty shit on stream isn't, or on a stream or on a presentation, isn't a gameplay release. You know that. Everyone knows that. And you did it last year with the hopes of us getting it, and we got 60% of it so far. So you're coming in with a disadvantage because a lot of people are going to be like, cool, you're showing cool shit that's not going to show up for another 2 years. Why should I care? That's the problem, is the apathy. I'm pretty sure 4.0 is a huge bottleneck for all the cool shit. I'm sure it is, but 4.0 is not coming out yet. 4.0 is not out. No matter which way you slice it, no matter how much you're going to try, you see as you can twist it, 4.0 is not released. It is not released. It is not functioning. No one knows how it plays. It is simply a test in an Evocati. MIAMA could easily be surpassed in hype if they come up with something we weren't expecting. That's great, but unless it's coming out tomorrow, CIG, it doesn't matter. Because they could show something that would be genre-defining, that would break the gaming industry. It doesn't matter if it takes 5 years for it to come out. Last year, CIG had the goodwill from the majority of the community that this is the first year back in physical CitizenCon. They did everything right. They showed off gameplay footage in game. They didn't show off concepts really. It was mostly physical things. And they said, we are going to release this in a certain amount of time. This is already done. We've been testing it in Squadron. It'll be in your hands soon. And then they bumbled it this year. Like just no ways about it. CIG bit off way more than they could chew. And even if they get like 70, 80% of what they were hoping for done, that's still impressive, but it's only 70, 80%. And CIG has to improve that. So unless there's some indication that CIG is improving their release record, then anything they say at CitizenCon is suspect. Can you elaborate? CIG's going to disadvantage things? Is this that the hit won't hit like us or similar? That's what I was saying, Kiro. So last year, like I said, perfect storm of situations. They did everything right. They were showing off a bunch of new things, and they set up anticipation, and people were like, we could see it in game. This isn't some fucking Valakar sandworm situation. It's different because they're showing it off in engine, they're showing it off in game, they're playing it live, they're using, they're doing gameplay footage, which is good. And this year they said, hey, we're focusing heavily on gameplay this year. Almost everything is in gameplay, which is great. But if all of these things require 4.0 to be out and 4.0 isn't out, CIG has the 4.0 pyro hanging over their head. They're going to start talking about shit like Nyx and Magnus and other locations. And it's like, that won't hit nearly as hard because we're pyro, So that's what I mean. So, and it's not me coming in saying this is going to be an awful CitizenCon or this is going to be bad or me shitting on CIG in any way, shape, or form. I'm just laying out the reality of the situation. Like, it's all like the same people who are going to hype are going to hype. The same people who are going to doom are going to doom. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The people who are stuck in their ways are going to be stuck in their ways. The question is, will the general community and the gaming community as a whole buy into it as much as they did last year? And I think the answer is no, because it's still going to be a lot of words until CIG has actions. I believe if CIG had managed to get 4.0 out before CitizenCon, or even in like an open PTU or like a wave 1 or wave 2 situation, I think people would have been a lot more forgiving because at least it's in PTU. Like, yeah, it could take 6 months to come out, but at least we're playing it. At least we're tangible. We can see it and touch it. So when CIG starts talking about Nyx, they go, oh, I can see that. But it's still, right now, hidden. I mean, saying Gib Pyro isn't going to change anything. CIG is going to work on CIG's schedule. If it's not ready, it's not ready. How's it going, Paul? Do you think 3.24 will drop tomorrow? Yes. Because CIG has to drop it tomorrow. Because it's 4.0 light and it has all of the ship stuff they need. So unless the game is utterly broken, unless you can literally not log into the game, you're getting 4.0 or you're getting 3.24.2 as like jank as possible. They're gonna slap some hot fixes on there that is just absolutely ruining the experience for everyone, but it makes the game technically function so that they can get it out, so that they can deal with it later. Am I planning to join the Evo 4.0 4 to 200 test tonight? Possibly, if I can. Yeah, the 1.0 panel has been planned forever.
You can take away my spaceship. You can take away my space suit.
Suit.
You can even take away my space lasers.
No good news.
But you can never,
ever
take away my space.
I have some hope and you need some Paul. I'm not dooming you.
Mason Cold Iron just resubscribed for 41 months. Good evening.
Thank you so much for that 41 months of support there, Mason. You're a very important pupper, very precipice, very pedestrian. This is your fault. You're you can add shots and cheers in chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. Yeah, no, I'm not doing y'all. What I'm saying is, like, I'm laying out the situation as it stands. This is the disadvantage that CIG is coming into when it comes to CitizenCon. They may not give a shit because CitizenCon is a marketing event, and it's not. It's not a traditional marketing event because traditional marketing event would be built around specific, like things are going to happen no matter what and all sorts of things. Instead, what this is more of a big community event that's also a kind of mini GDC for the developers, while also being like a fan convention and general kind of hangout. Like that's just. You never go into a CitizenCon expecting miracles because you will always be disappointed. Go into a CitizenCon expecting to see some cool stuff, and especially if you're there, it's always a good time because you get to meet developers, you get to meet other fans, you get to meet, like, I'm sure you don't have many people who you could like nerd out with about internet spaceships. You know, I know as sure as hell I don't know anybody in real life I can talk to about Star Citizen lore, but when I'm in like a CitizenCon, yeah, I could fucking talk about it all day. So that's the nice part. I never would have thought Paul was a doomer. I think the consensus is once server meshing is live product, we're going to look at the product ramp, not the, oh, we need this Jesus patch in order to get these things going. As I've always said, what 4.0 seems to be the blocker in the sense of gameplay being developed. While 4.0 is not released yet, CIG cannot begin to put any of the things that they want to do into the game because 4.0 is the thing that sets the baseline for everything going forward. No matter how much they change server meshing in the future, it's likely not going to change enough so that it impacts gameplay systems in the sense of how they function. 4.0 is, for all intents and purposes, the bedrock of Star Citizen. Going forward, it's all built off of that.
You can take away my space suit. You can even take away my space lasers. But you can never, ever take away my space game.
Womblissimo just resubscribed for 18 months. Howdy hi all y'all 07.
Hey, thank you so much for boosting for that. For very important part. Very impressive. Very pedestrian. This is your fault. There was drinking night. Shots and cheers in chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. The other thing CIG is known for delivering on time is a ship sale. While that is a cynical point of view, it's also a practical point of view. I don't necessarily like the tone that it usually sets, but the reality is that CIG has been making ships longer than they're making anything else. It's literally the first thing they did in the game. And that's what they were doing for things like the hangar module. They were trying to make the ships playable and functional because they're the basis of Star Citizen as a game. I've never been to a CitizenCon, hope to someday, but I did get to go to one of the first VerseCons, 2017. That was a blast. I was hosting that one. Glad to hear that, Zombie. That's true somewhat for most software, though, unless you crunch a ton. They have a year from me after 4.0. When that year hits, I'll have to do some serious sit down and consider if I want to keep playing this game. But right now, they have a hall pass for me. Okay. Okay, correcting for features not planned for 2024, from what I know, is that 4.0 after it releases, 65% of the features will be released, though they may have maybe things 4.0 that aren't confirmed. The only thing that I think that I'm surprised about that's not going to come this year is the quantum system, because that was a big feature that they seem to just have forgotten.
Dem biddies.
Need some hopium, Paul?
No, Tricon, thank you for the biddies, though. I'll take your dollars. I do think that CIG will get 4.0 out this year. Part of me doesn't. I was gonna say part of me doesn't. Part of the answer is no. Like I'm torn, but not so torn, because especially with something like Squadron, I'm like, take as much time as you need to. Please don't make sure it's good. Don't rush it. Really kind of work it out, massage it, make sure it functions and plays right and feels right. But then with like Star Citizen, I'm like, fuck it. Just send it. I'm just gonna send it. Just send that bitch. Is it barely playable? Yeet.
You can take away my spaceship. You can take away my space suit. You can even take away my space lasers.
No pew-pews.
But you can never,
ever
take away my space game.
MMOR Goat just resubscribed for 24 months, 2 years. Currently at the airport on my way to CitizenCon. Could someone please whisper me and drop the link for the Bar Citizen registrations? Can't find it myself, unfortunately. Confused face.
CitizenCon. I don't see it either. Here we go. I'll post it in the chat. Here we go. That's for everybody. The full link. 07, long time no see. CitizenCon hype. Okay. Hey, Persky. What were we talking about? Oh, right, yeah. I don't know what you're talking about with like someone spoiled me with what they're showing at CitizenCon. I don't know. No, I haven't seen anything like that. I've just always been of the opinion that I'm okay with CIG taking more time with Squadron, because it's like, I think Tree said this best. It's like, how many games have been released in the last 5 to 6 years, which could have used another year in development? A lot of them, especially larger AAA titles. So, are you aware of the Toby giveaway? I am. I already have a Toby though. So, given to me by Toby. Thank you, Toby. What's Toby? Toby is a company that makes the eye tracker. It tracks your eyes as well as your head movements. It's a fully integrated system that doesn't require any kind of bips and bobs in your face. It's built it. You can put it onto your mount. You can mount it onto your what is it called? Your screens, your monitor. And it can also be used to help for like inputs and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. I think backers will both be pleasantly surprised and extremely disappointed. About Squadron 42? I mean, you still think that they're going to release Nyx at the same time as Pyro, so I don't trust your takes. They're It was kind of like Truck IR, except it uses IR. It's uses IR to read your eye movements instead of tracking a reflector on your head. Yeah. I personally don't think that they're under delivered this year. If anything, CIG exceeded expectations. I disagree. I think CIG is slightly under expectations, mostly because Squadron or 4.0 isn't quite out yet. However, I do think with 4.0 releasing, not all will be forgiven, but I think that a lot of people will forget that how that thing works. No, other systems will come next year. Yeah. I mean, it's clear that Nyx is going to come out next year. They only had 2 patches the whole year. I mean, if they release 4.0 this year, they'll have 2. Fishy, why are you here shilling for another channel? You specifically were talking about another channel. You're like, what do you think about insert channel here? And they're these great accomplishments. And I'm like, I don't know who that is. Are you saying they've reviewed every single ship in the game? You're good. This is just for, because I often have to do this speech. So this is the teacher speech. I'm not angry or disappointed in you. I just want to make sure everyone understands, because especially with Star Citizen, there's a lot of folks who don't know proper etiquette when it comes to live streams. Generally speaking, even if I like somebody or I know somebody personally, I don't go onto somebody's stream and talk about another channel, positively or negatively, unless that channel is being brought up by the creator. You know, this is not just my rules, this is a general rule. Because it's like if somebody is giving a speech, or if somebody is, you know, is doing entertainment, right? If you have a performer and someone runs in and be like, hey, this other entertainer is much better and they're over here, go watch them instead. It's kind of a shit move. Even if it's not intended that way, even if it's meant as like sort of more conversational, it can become across like that. So it's just etiquette that is generally applied. So yeah, decorum, that's all it is. So I'm not mad or anything like that. It just, yeah. Or you have them as guests, exactly. Twitch-a-kit. Stupid, yeah, Cyberwolf, you're telling me. So, in general, let's go over one more time. Let's go over the CitizenCon schedule. What about promoting cereals not sponsored by the channel, like Rice Krispies? Out of the question. Get Kellogg's to give me some of that fucking blood money, and maybe we'll talk. Oh, right. It's good etiquette if any streamer asks about lore of the Astro is getting mentioned. If the streamer asks specifically about it. Like, I wouldn't want you to go on to a brand new person or even a big name streamers and be like, have you heard of the AstroPub? Just out of context for no reason. Did Evo happen or not? They're waiting for it to happen right now. Blood money? I'm assuming if a big name corporation is being mentioned, that they've got some level of war crime that they've committed. That being said, there, Fishy, who is Billionaire Ninja? Wait, is an in-universe war crime or an IRL war crime? Considering how much of CIG's lore is based off of real life, like companies, yes. Ninja the streamer. Ninja the streamer plays Star Citizen? He's a Star Citizen YouTuber. Oh, the number of the forgotten children. I like to call them the forgotten children because CIG fucking ignores them. Like, there was one guy who shows up pretty frequently. It's like PGR, I think his name is. He shows up in my recommended all the time. it is pretty good. Like, I wouldn't say he's like a massive content creator in the sense that he, you know, makes a ton of content, like huge numbers. But let me see if he pops up in my recovery and that stuff again. It's PG something like that. Is it PGR? Yeah, that's PGR. This guy. Go follow him, by the way. Phase 1, yeah. So he shows up on my recommended as a bunch because I do go through Star Citizen stuff every so often. You'll see that like some of his stuff, like 4 years ago, he didn't get much at all. And then you look at his, some of his industry stuff is a little bit better. And when you get to like quick tips, it gets a little bit better. And then a lot of his most recent videos, he's gotten, I thought I saw somewhere he was like getting like 10,000 views and some of the stuff. Like, yeah, the 4.0, like, you know, 5,000 views here. And this is going to sound weird, chat, but like looking at his numbers, he does better numbers than I do. Not under the Astro Historian, but the AstroPub channel all the time. Because he's releasing stuff all the time. Of course, he's releasing it every freaking day. Like, Jesus Christ, no wonder his numbers are kind of... God, he releases 3 videos a day. That's insanity. That's too much. Too much. It's a rapid fire. Yeah, he's good. I've watched a couple of his videos. So this is my Astro Historian channel, so I'm not subscribed to him there. Do I know about the Star Lancer leak? There's lots of yeah, there's the MISC stuff that's been talked about, yeah. Since they're doing 4.0 in the test channel, do you think they'll have a weekly test channel pyro test count is good enough? No. Until CIG is releasing players, letting players play 4.0 that are not Evocati or Wave 1, most players won't count it. In fact, this is one of the reasons, I'll go back here. This is one of the reasons why I said just fucking send it. Because most players do not do PTU. Even the most hyped events, people just say, I'll wait till it's released. Because they have to basically download the game again onto their PC. And yes, I know there's a bunch of different tricks you can use so that you can play that and not have to use as much space. But most people aren't going to do that because they just don't care that much. So, and then the people who are playing it all the time are going to end up slowly burning out over time because of bugs and other issues. Some patches will be unplayable. So the PTU system has an expiration date, and it's about 3 weeks. In my experience, it's 2 to 3 weeks. Once you hit that 2 to 3 weeks of Evocati PTU sort of cycle, then you start getting less and less people playing. Even if you have issues, it becomes harder to get concurrency and other things to test it. So I'm of the opinion that CIG stops like sets a bare minimum bar and just says, live is a test environment, go, and just start dropping shit, because that's the only way you get people to give a shit. So I think 4.0 is a patch where it's just dropping to all PTU. I agree. But I believe in general that CIG should be dropping patches uncooked, half baked, and then hot fixing them as they go, because that's how you get concurrency. People don't play on PTU, they play on live. Bro, do you think there is any chance in the world ever they stop selling ships on launch? Oh, you mean with 1.0? No. But I've been saying that for 5 years now. The CIG promise that they'd stop selling ships after the game releases was a promise they made in 2012. When Chris Roberts thought that they were just going to be using the Kickstarter crowdfunding model to get investors and then make the game. There is no way they stop selling ships, but it can't be their primary method of raising money, which is why Squadron 42 is important and other things like that. But yeah, the way that they deal with it is if they're smart and they're good, they're going to cause a lot of problems because people are going to get mad about this. But is to lock all good equipment behind reputation walls, make reputation basically the same as money, if not more important than money, so that even if you have money or ships, you can't do jack and or shit with them. You need the reputation so that you can use that to get what you can before. Things like base building, crafting, they won't probably sell any of those. My biggest issue is that CIG doesn't let people earn the ships in game the same day as they drop the ships that are purchased or purchasable. Right? Why not? Oh, because people won't buy them. If people aren't buying the ships because they can buy them in game, it means that you fucked up the economy, CIG. At least having rentals so that people can know what it's like before buying it. And they're not going to go sub gameplay. I know so many people push for subs for gameplay. That's never going to happen. It's not a viable model. I noticed that on the PTU, everything looks nice. The lighting looks awesome. The minute it goes live, all of a sudden it looks grubby and the lighting looks tired. I don't know what you're looking at. It's always looked tired and grubby. I think just making all of the ships, the brand new ships, rentable on day one that they release, and then release them for purchase in game later, allows for people to play it and try it out. They rolled back the new renderer. Yeah, Luna, if you're talking about like the optional subscriptions like they have now, that will still work. And I think that's going to expand going forward, but making mandatory subscriptions doesn't work. I also think they're going to keep making new ships until the game dies. Yeah. Until CIG runs out of money. They're going to be making Star Citizen and Squadron 42 and other ships, other things like that. How many people would still play if they had to sub? You're looking at the wrong crew though, Pandar, because you're looking at a crew who are already invested in Star Citizen. The people who are invested in Star Citizen aren't the ones you need. You need new players. You need players who are not already invested in Star Citizen to play the game. Not necessarily to buy a bunch of ships, but to play the game. Because those people, if they enjoy themselves, spread the word to other people who get more people to play the game. You need high concurrency or numbers of people who are excited about the game. You don't do that when you lock it behind a subscription wall, because then nobody bothers to pay for it. You know how many people in the community only show up like once a year, maybe twice a year to play the game? There was somebody in the chat earlier who's literally stopped playing for a year. If they stopped playing for the year and then came back and were told $20 right now, they'd probably say fuck you and just walk away. Like, it just doesn't work. If CIG goes to Warframe's business model, they need to start selling Warframe cosmetics. Hey, Paul. Lots of people are expecting 1.0 to be very divisive, maybe make Star Citizen lose a good portion of the player base. What's your take? I'm the one who started that rumor, as far as I know, started that trend. I started talking about that like weeks ago, whenever the I started talking about long ago, but like when the panel first came out on here, that's one of the first things I said. Hey, 4.0 is coming out. One point oh may pop a lot of people's dream bubbles of what Star Citizen is versus what they want it to be. The problem with Eve, Pandar, is that Eve doesn't make any money. Eve has not been a profitable. It only like this last year that it's the first year that it was a profitable enterprise for its parent company in like 4 years. Star Citizen has been in the black for, I want to say, every year since 2017 or 2018. And when they went into the red, it was like they lost like $1 million. Oh, it was nice to meet you at CIG sponsored Austin Bar Citizen. Good to meet you too there, Hip Hop. And WoW hasn't been profitable for Blizzard? What? Blizzard? All right, Sugar. Let's be real here. Are you comparing WoW with Star Citizen? Just replay that what you just said. You're comparing the best MMO, the best-selling MMO, a cultural phenomena, with Star Citizen. WoW is an exception to everything. We'll be live. I'm just saying, like, we need to set our expectations here, y'all. Like, we need to be realistic about Star Citizen. Star Citizen is never going to be WoW. It's never trying to be WoW. CIG wants to make a game that they want to make. Whether we like it or not, they're going to make a game that they want to make. They're going to try to make it as fun as possible, but in the end, there's going to be people who are going to not like it. And gating off people's access through things like subscriptions just isn't a profitable or meaningful enterprise right now. It just won't work. Yep, the 200 plus. I'm gonna actually, unless they yell at me. I saw people doing this last time, where they played it and they didn't show it. They were just talking about them playing it. I just wanted to go pay to win to ruin the game. I mean, people would argue that Star Citizen's already pay to win. I disagree, but you know. From my point of view, a lot of funds have gone towards Squadron 42, and after paying back marketing investors, CIG will have plenty of money to fund going on sufficient. I don't think the marketing investors are going anywhere, y'all. The Calders do not seem to be the type of people who cut and run. The Calders want to be the investors of Cloud Imperium Games, so that when Cloud Imperium Games ends up going going public or is a super well-known name, they can tell their friends and colleagues that they worked or they helped create that thing. This is a personal relationship they have with the Robertses, with Aaron and Sandy and Chris, and they are here for the long run. Every chance they've had to back out, they've tripled down. How would I fund post-game launch? I would heavily focus on microtransactions. I know that everyone hates that term, but I would balance it, but I would focus on making customization as like detailed as possible. I'd want players to have as much control over what their character looks like, what the clothes they wear look like, or what the clothes they have, what their armor looks like, what their ship looks like, what their interiors look like. I want players to be as absolutely creatively empowered as possible, because I can sell those things. I can give them a bunch of free stuff, including good free stuff, and encourage players to do activities and use that as a means to have people engaged and, you know, do missions and stuff like that. But I can also sell limited edition custom paint palettes where, like, $3 you get a bunch of stuff and you can use that for whatever you need to. Like, that's the sort of thing you do to increase your money, but also not piss off your fans, because you're giving fans the ability to express themselves. Like, to use an analogy from hobbying, nobody gets mad at Games Workshop. Nobody gets mad at Games Workshop when they sell paints. Nobody. They get mad at, like, price changes and stuff like that, but no one gets mad at them when they sell paint. They're a modeling company, but they have a paint division. Yeah. No, it's not currency though. What I'm saying is, like, microtransactions in the sense that people could buy it, but then also they can earn those same items in game doing actions as well. People get mad at Games Workshop for not selling paints and dropper bottles. But that's the thing. It's like I guarantee you, people wouldn't be mad if you're like, here's literally every color we can think of in basic form. You get access to this basic palette. Every other palette you can unlock through quest chains or reputation gates or events, and then here are 17 other palettes that will sell, and a palette is like 4 or 5 colors, and then you sell skins which also have those colors attached to those skins, and then you could swap those skins out with any other color you have, and you do that for ships, armor, clothing, hair color, I don't give, like, all that shit. That's what Warframe does. It's what MechWarrior Online does. It works. Hell, maybe you can even fucking make them in game. Maybe you can make these palettes in game when you have the right tools and everything like that. Yeah, but also things like logos, like build the logos, like decals, that sort of thing. No, what I'm saying, T-Jack, is their current ship skins are like templates. So you can they register the primary, secondary, tertiary, maybe quaternary paint colors, and then players can go in and put whatever the fuck paint they want to on those palettes. So you don't just you don't have someone being like, I'm an artist. You don't have HC Vertigo doing the vomit colors all over their ship, but you have to paint within the lines, and the skins are the lines.
Drinks all around.
Let's party like it's your birthday. Party like it's your birthday. Come on and put your lips together. Blow the candle out. Party like it's your birthday. Party like it's your birthday. I wanna make you feel real special. Put your name in lights. We are gonna party like it's your birthday. Gonna party like it's your birthday. Gonna party like it's your birthday. Blow the candle out.
Tilted Turtle just got a sub from Shempaster. Shempaster gifted 6 months of tier 1 to Tilted Turtle.
Thank you so much for gifting that sub.
209 months in the channel.
You're all very important puppers, very impressive, Mr. Vinny Pedestrian. You rock. Shots and cheers in chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. Yeah, like, good fucking... You know how CIG can print money? Come here, right here. Chat, get nice and close. I'm going to say this nice and soft. Are you sitting down? CIG would make infinite money if they sold pets. He's out of line, but he's right. And this is based off of legitimate like conversations I have heard and I have had with people at Blizzard who talk about how much fucking money they make off of pets. They make so much fucking money off of their pet system. Like unbelievable amounts of money. The Sims, yeah. If CIG sold a Marok or a Copian that would just hang out in your hangar, invincible pets, yeah, I think. What was that thing that Thor said? The first mount sold on WoW made more than StarCraft 2. Was it the mount or was that a pet? Mount. Oh. But the key is with all games is that the real way that CIG makes money is they finish the fucking game. Release fucking patches. That's how they make money. It's not even a controversial opinion.
You can even take away my space lasers. But you can never, ever take away my space game.
MOC_shade just resubscribed for 6 months. Do you think SIG has a lot more tech that they don't talk about?
No.
Star Engine looks great, but so did Slip Space for Halo Infinite.
No.
As a Dave myself, I just wonder if it's actually a bigger problem that we know about.
No. Oh no. No. I think the difference is in Slip Space was like the internal leaks were notorious talking about how awful Slip Space was to work with and how hard it was. The major difference between some place like 343 and Star Citizen and our CIG, Cloud Imperium, is that Cloud Imperium doesn't do a lot of outsourcing. That's the thing that 343 does, is they outsource the shit out of their development. So when you have a custom engine that requires a bunch of people to learn a bunch of things, and you only work on 6 months to 9 months, like 6 months to a year contract, most of that time is going to be spent learning the engine, and then you have to do a slapdash job of getting something done, and then you get paid and you leave. Because they don't want to have to pay you enough so that you get benefits. So, like, it was awful. Like, a lot of those are the things. Star Citizen, as far as I understand, typically, CIG typically doesn't hire a bunch of temp workers. They may hire people like sort of on temp. But they like to hire from internal. So they're not going to have the same sort of problem that 343 had when it came to slip space. And I know a lot of Star Citizen devs just by proxy of being in this community for long enough and being a content creator. And from my experience with the devs, I have never heard any of them complain about Star Engine, because they also have their own tools team. So their own tools team develop tools internally for them to work. So if anytime they have a problem, they can just build their way out of it. So most of what we have is not really tech debt. It's just tech is missing. Any of the problems that occur in Star Citizen, as I think Benoit kind of pointed out with the NMQ situation, is just shit they have that doesn't work. It's not that they're building on top of this. They're literally reaching a point where they're building things which they used a temporary fix that needs to get swapped out for a permanent fix. So instead of fixing the problem, they just replace the system, because that's how they work. Yeah, they changed the name to Halo Studios because 343 had such a awful reputation. The reason why they're moving to Unreal is because Unreal is an engine that everyone knows, so they can outsource it to China. You're gonna get the I hate to say this, but I fear that Halo is gonna turn into the what was that? Temu? The Temu of video games. No, Epic is working on server meshing for Unreal 6. Evo patch notes up. Yeah, I'm looking at the it's not downloadable yet, so. No, Star Citizenship Wave Views were a thing. I was the one commissioning them. Because John Crew told me no. He begged me not to do it, because I thought of it as a joke. And I take my jokes very seriously. I do want to keep doing them, though, because I do like paying artists to do cool things like that. Yeah, I can read the patch notes. Okay, I'll restart my launcher. EPTU update. There we go. And News of MechWarrior Clans is coming out tomorrow. I unfortunately will not be able to play it because Execute and Algrid were having... They were enjoying themselves too much, so they don't have enough time to kind of sit down with me to do it until tomorrow, so... No, it's... Who was that raiding? That was Invitation Tina. How you doing, Tina? Thank you so much for that raid. Welcome everyone from Tina Stream. My name is Paul Berserker01, Batman Shelley, your humble host and space bartender here at the AstroPub, your space bar at the end of the universe. Sit back, relax, enjoy the show. We got a good one for you. How you doing? Howdy, hyped for the con? I am intrigued by the con. In fact, while this is downloading, let's go over the schedule one more time and kind of talk about the context of said schedule. There we go. There we go. Aussies in the mother country, all those pubs, go figure. Yeah. All right. So, venue opens at 9 a.m. The first one's Brave New Worlds. We talked about this in the captain's table, but the Brave New Worlds in this case are talking about Star Engine. It's Star Engine and the Genesis system, the Genesis suite of tools. We talked about this in the captain's table as well, but I do agree with the idea that this isn't just Star Engine world building tools, but I think it's also how they're making creatures. So then the next one is a social universe, and this is all about how we're evolving social features to maximize your adventures, from personal one-on-one interactions to massive gatherings with hundreds and even thousands of players. So org tools, party tools, that kind of stuff. So the Twitch stream is going to be this channel. The YouTube stream is going to be InfoRunner's channel. Hey, Olsen. Then the cosplay competition should be neat, interesting. Then Dressed to Kill, Starware, and exciting new character-focused specializations that let you define your identity and take on the challenges ahead, including the return of a legendary friend from CitizenCon's past. No idea what that is, but I do know that the Starware is must be their new system for creating clothing and armor and stuff like that. Hopefully, customization options for like colors and stuff like that. There's got to be a con reference, yeah, of course. I don't know who the friend is, honestly. Like, everyone has all these theories. I don't know what it is. Yeah, people think it's a sandworm. I'm like, why would it be a sandworm in Dressed to Kill? New PGU update. Is this a release candidate for live? Yes. Also, 4.0 is currently in Evocati. I think we can talk about it. We're supposed to go into Pyro. It'd be weird for them to bring back Jay Lee, because I think Jay Lee was doing other things. And then we've got Beyond Pyro. This isn't my favorite panel, but I am interested in it because I want to see what's going on. We're talking about stuff that isn't pyro. So my guess, and I said this before, and a lot of people I think they took it the wrong way. My guess is what we're going to see is concept art and then demonstrations of the Genesis tool. So we'll see probably Nyx more fleshed out, probably a full tour of Nyx. Then we'll probably see maybe little snippets, maybe pictures or like the planet or like landing zones for Terra or Magnus or other things like that. We'll start to see what CIG is going for with the systems beyond Nyx. And talk about the other features and other things that are going to be happening after 4.0. Then Redacted is quite clearly Soul Singer. I mean, Squadron 42. And the venue closes at 9, and I believe the presentation ends at 8. So that is 2.5 hours of Squadron 42. That's a lot of fucking Squadron 42. Considering in the past we've got no more than like 30 minutes, maybe an hour. This is like a gigantic amount of time. And then after that, the next day, we have Crafting Your Home, which is definitely talking about crafting and base building and the new crafting system. And Captains of Industry, which is, I think, focused heavily on the ships and vehicles, which are going to be improving that system, but also other industries and, of course, anything else they're going to make. And lastly, The Star's My Destination, Star Citizen 1.0. That's going to be a high-level overview of 1.0. Not details. At most, they'll tell us what ships might be released. But they're going to tell us what the stages are that they're going to complete. Okay, we're going to get this out, then we're going to get this out, then we're going to get this out. We're not going to say 4.0, 4.1, 4.7, or anything like that. It's going to be just, these are the steps that we're going to take to get there. I don't think we'll see anything about Soul Singer, honestly. People keep saying we're going to see it. I don't see it. I think it's just CIG doing legal stuff, because they would have talked about something. What percentage of last year's CitizenCon would you say they delivered on? If I remember correctly, it's like 40%. Someone actually tracked it. Now, a lot of the stuff that I've seen that are tracked, I think, incorrectly, because they're tracking it as like, this is clearly what they said there's going to happen. It's like, they said a lot of this stuff was like, it's going to take a little bit longer for us to get there. Like the push-pull system. Like they said, like, this is going to take longer than just, recently. But there were things like the new quantum system that they showed off that was like, it's like nowhere in sight. Did I get clans yet? No, I'm going to buy it at the end of the stream, because I don't think you can even pre-order it on Steam. But I'm not going to be able to play it because the Aussies got too drunk and were unable to do a show tonight. They're having fun. They're doing other things. It's their first time doing it. I'm not going to shit on them about it. It's PGI's fault for releasing clans this close to CitizenCon. Is it out? Not even in new releases. I found it, but it's No, I haven't read the Evo patch notes. I have to go find them, honestly. I don't think I can read this. Someone else might be able to, but I'm not going to. I can give you the gist of it, though. It's 4 to 200. So there's 200 people in the server, and there's 4 server or per shard for four servers. It's mostly to test Stanton and Pyro jump gates and RMQ. And jump points are having a lot of issues right now, so they want us to set our spawn point in Pyro. That's it.
You can take away my space suit. You can even take away my space lasers.
No PPUs.
But you can never.
Never. There's not much other than that, other than no issues.
Take away my space game.
Puppy_1775 just resubscribed for 22 months.
Thank you so much for 22 months of support there, Pappy. You're a very important pupper, very impressive of any pedestrian. This is your fault. There was one drinking night. Shots and cheers in chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. Yeah, like there's nothing really detailed here. It's pretty short. There's no features listed or anything else like that. It's just known issues, and those issues are pretty small. Okay. Yeah, it says checkmate doesn't have hangers, but it's like the jump tunnel can push the player away on entry. I'm playing right now. It seems to be okay. There's some weird glitches every so often. Ow, ow, ow. Ha, Radar Ranger's on. Server crash. i.e. we're gonna crash a lot. Yeah. They were like, ship it. It's dead. What's the player count? I can't tell you because the server's crashing. Thank you so much there, Adelina. You're a very important public, very impressive pisser, very pedestrian. This your fault. The reason I'm drinking that. Shots and cheers in chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. How you doing? Fuck it, we'll fix it in post. So like the crashing is pretty normal. This sort of thing happens a lot with Evocati and that kind of stuff. So we're back. That was pretty quick. Do. This is a dead end. Just can imagine the guys at G following the test over 2 hours. A lot of back and forth. The guys at Cape Canaveral is about to launch. Well, you got to remember that generally speaking, what we're dealing with here is a build that is mostly being tested to make sure it's stable. Still don't have my chunky suit, but it's okay. Let's rock with the Caldera. It was good to have the Caldera out. Everything decent here? Not really. Clap on, clap off. What CPU am I playing with? i7 11700K. So an older version. I've seen leaks on exactly why they plan to have in game by 11. Not saying it's 100% true, but the leaker is right more than he is wrong. Are we talking about Trust Me Bro leaks though? So the problem with Trust Me Bro leaks is that they seem decent, but when you actually go down to it, there's a lot of problems with it. Because anytime you're looking at something like, I don't know, say somebody who is like earnest in their beliefs, I just trap myself in here. I trap myself in here. Ah. Backspace. I'll be more encouraged with 4.0 when you guys start getting steady builds and not just a play test. Well, you typically don't see a ton of playtests like this back to back to back. Typically it's like one and then we wait a week and then another and then like 3 weeks and another. This seems a lot faster than it should be. Hey Paul, getting ready to fly? I'm in the background, playing it in the background. So, unless you have somebody who has the full context, CIG is very compartmentalized. So no one person has all the information for every single thing that is going on with Star Citizen. So if you work in, say, animation, and you get information from somebody in animation, they may have no clue what's happening outside of their little niche bubble. So the only way you're getting full ideas of what's going on is if you're getting leaks from a management level, like a high management level. And even then, that's not always a reliable source, because they may also not know everything. What we're talking about? Leaks. You're welcome to watch us live on YouTube and Twitch while we're watching the whole thing. Give some context afterwards. I may have bricked myself. Yeah, the elevators aren't working, but you know. I'm also bricked up, yeah. We'll see what they do. I don't know if we're going to see a ton of stuff talking about science or anything else like that. No, I chose Ruin. Okay, I'll try that. So I'm looking at damn it. Double guns. Let's see. I'm I am 152. There's 152 people on my shard, on my server. Or 152 on the shard, 129 on my server. So when does the whole shindig kick off? What's the whole shindig you're talking about? Oh, 19th at 9 a.m. Yeah, 11 a.m. is when it actually starts. So I'll be right back, chat. Oh. I can't even. I committed unalived myself, and I'm stuck in the elevator. So the elevators aren't working anymore. A lot of people are leaving the server as well. Ooh, I could probably do that. Exit to menu. Yeah, so 3 a.m. PST. Yep. Listen, this is very typical for PTU, for Evocati. The fact that it crashed and recovered at the very beginning is fine. That's actually really good. There are legitimate patches, and the performance is fine. There are legitimate patches which are like effectively let's go to OS. EU. USA. There you go. US only, yeah. I figured at least I'd try because I don't want to get dropped into the same server. 150 something in the server or in the shard, and 120 in my server. There's 162 now and 124 in the server. But I'm getting about 40 FPS. In terms of my server ping, we're looking like server ping is like 15, 20 FPS. So it's like standard performance currently. You're getting live tomorrow for 3.2, 4.2? Yes. Yeah, my server is still hovering around the normal amount. Also, it dropped me an obituary for some reason. So I was in ruin, and then it put me in obituary. Like my personal FPS is around 30, which is pretty good. I have a kind of a medium end PC, so. So it sounds like it'd be Wave 1 PT around Christmas? No. Sooner than that. I wouldn't be surprised if Wave 1 was around, was a week or two after CitizenCon. So I came out here. Fuck do I go? Oh, I should probably use the map. Shit's fucking confusing, yo. Hangar transit. All right, there we go. I can't hear anything because I'm streaming, but yeah. I think CIG is just gonna send it when they can, because they know they need more just testing in general. Is there an ASOP terminal I can come around here? Oh, there are. Let's get the broken ASOP terminal. Let's pull out the good old standby. Drake Corsair. Pizza? No. I think we're going to see I think we're going to see it release before IAE. I think that's what CIG is pushing for. How's the Evo build? It's okay. It's got some jank, but the jank is pretty expected. Doors are missing. Things aren't loading in properly. The server is doing okay. I'm at 18. Okay, my FPS is just absolute dog shit right now, and the server's FPS is dog shit as well. We're also at 190 people in the game in the shard, and 143 people in my server. So let us know if it has server degradation. I mean, it's already starting off as garbage, so you can't really degrade if it's 2 hours, if it's only gonna be on for 2 hours. What's that? Oh, I'm in Evo now? Yeah. Yeah, I'm at 196.39. Here's where they're going to call 4.0 when it goes live, like they've been naming them recently. Probably the Pyro Frontier or something. Yeah, I think the player still drops at IAE because I think 4.0 comes out in IAE. Did they drop 4.0 to Evo? Yes, they did. It's in Evo test though. It's not in a full Evo. So this is a stress test still. This is going to be the last test before we get to CitizenCon though, so. Is it going well? It's only crashed once. Right now, it's still going through all of the similar problems that it gets. Is that when everyone is trying to join the server, so like all of my announcements, like it won't let me open the doors to the hangar, kind of stuff like that. So. Yeah, it's fine. Like, is it playable? No. This is not at all playable because it's got so many weird issues in it. But it hasn't crashed. I'm running it at 24 FPS. My server is at 9 FPS. So it's like the performance is on par with what we are currently, with small little weird issues. But yeah. Hey, Mad Titan. Later, Mad Titan. Are you in standard or pyro? Pyro. I was curious in regards to CitizenCon. I noticed that the Dress to Kill segment will notice return of a legendary friend from CitizenCon's past, Jax McCleary. Jax McCleary is an IAE guest, not a CitizenCon guest. So that was my immediate thought, but I don't know who. I don't remember any legendary members of CitizenCon's past. Oh, that's why. We got another server crash. Yeah, see, if you commit unalive and you spawned at what is it? Ruin Station, you get sent to Obituary. Molly? No. Ooh, Molly is also from Invictus IAE. We're back from that crash pretty quick, though. See if I can pull any missions up. What the fuck? There are fucking 50 bounty hunter missions, 80 salvage missions, and 24 mercenary missions. Most of them don't work, though. Can you, like, let me open? Oh, they stored my ship. Remember he was stuck in Pyro? Yeah. Retrieve. Yeah, ships just plop into existence. Question: How much money do you think? CIG could make right after CitizenCon? Not as much as they made after last year, but I don't think CitizenCon makes them a ton of money. The ships do, but I don't think like the actual event does. I think CIG makes more money off of 4.0's release than they do CitizenCon. I'm encountering some wild bugs. And again, it's just playing for a little bit. Not that I could see. Like, look at it this way. I can't even get into my ship right now. Boop, 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 boop. Pyro, you can get some bargains, some bargain guns in the real bin. Yeah. All right, I'm going to store this and then unstore it. Like, we literally do not have anything. As far as I can tell, we don't have any of the features in. It's just Pyro, server meshing, and jump points. Are they bringing Ralph Lauren? No way. My off-the-wall theory is figure from the past refers to current day fashion designers CIG may have brought in to design new clothes. I don't think so. Oh. Mentioning your YSL store in Orison. No, BMM is not going to be anytime soon until you can sell stuff, though they have talked about that. I wouldn't be surprised if that's something they show off next CitizenCon. That's not. I don't think it's a next year thing though. I think BMM is 2 years from here. All right, so I think I managed to get to the hangar, but I'm currently in a weird loop where nothing is working properly. When I'm doing a clan stream, I was planning on doing it tomorrow, but the Aussies got too fucking blasted and are having too much fun in in the UK, so I'm gonna have to put that off until next week. Yeah, all of the hybrid services are broken effectively. But that is, again, with the context, that is not unusual. When am I starting the CitizenCon stream? 3 a.m. my time, so 4 a.m. Eastern on Saturday. It'll probably be next Wednesday or next Friday. There, Kelmore. Definitely need help with people. So.
You can take away my spaceship. You can take away my space suit. You can even take away my space lasers. But you can never.
Yeah, you're gonna get trapped in the hangars. You're gonna get trapped in. It's like nothing is functioning
game
right now. But which isn't to be too. It's not too surprising.
Northern Trooper just resubscribed for 15 months. I'm tired, boss.
Thank you. I'm ready to watch the panels. We'll give you context. We'll have the two Aussies on the floor talking, so they'll give us some context as well as we're watching and talking about the feel of the floor, and maybe even some interviews or discussions from the folks on the floor from CIG. What's the dinner special? Slop. Ooh. Hey, my hangar opened. Small victory. All right. I'm gonna make my move from Bloom all the way. Let's see if we get the full. Use the full fucking system. We got Terminus. I'm gonna go to the Stanton Gateway, see how far that is. I'm gonna be out of fuel. How did you ever get in an elevator? What? How did you even get in an elevator? Skill issue? It sounds like a skill issue right there. Where's Wardo? I made it out. And I'm currently in a server with 116 people. Sideways 9. Looks like a shortened, the shortened rear of a freelancer. Pyro, she's so big. She is huge. Jumping from Obituary to the Stanton Gateway. Again, not final gameplay, but I have a Corsair, a stock Corsair, and it's using literally every single bit of fuel that I have on this ship to go from Pyro 1 to the Stanton Gateway. How long though? I started about a minute ago. I'm still going. I'm still 49 gigameters away. It says I have 5M quantum fuel out of 6M. Do you think the Corsair will ever be a good solo choice again? It was never designed to be a solo choice, but no, I don't think it will be. If you're looking for the meta breaker, don't chase the meta, A. But if you are, then it's going to be the Connie. What server meshing config do you think they're going to go roll with 4.0? Roll with 500, 1,000? You think 500 or 600? 600 to 4 sounds about right. Because that's about, averages about 200 people per server at max, so. I can't remember, but there's been a discussion on how large of a download Star Citizen will be once the system is over. What the hell? I just got kicked out. You just crossed the server boundary. Yeah, I did, because my server went down to 30 people. Now I can't seem to quantum. I'll just go for a bit. Slow citizen, yeah. Why are you trying to find a solo large ship? Ships like Connie and larger will never be supposed to be good solo. They're always going to kind of break them down. It seems to have entirely screwed over my my jump capabilities, though. You think CIG will ever sell any of the module or ships? But you have to know to look for and plan well in advance to get past get out a trip in the city. Make sure my weapons are turned off. Oh, hard crash. Crash the desktop. I've looked into Once Human. Not really interested in that one. It looks okay, but yeah. Do you think CSG will ever sell? Yes. I do think 4.1, 4.2 are going to be stellar patches. Yes. Now, like I've been saying for a while, I think 4.0 is going to have lots of problems. And those problems are going to be stemming from the fact that they've never done this before. So anything that could go wrong will go wrong. And I'll say this is pretty. It started off pretty good, but now it's pretty bang on for a sort of this sort of early version test of an Evocati. I still have a feeling that CIG is going to just yeet it. They're just gonna fucking send it, which is fine. But if they do fucking send it, people need to understand that, 4.0 is going to be a pretty awful experience for a lot of people. And I don't expect any of this to get fixed between now and between today and next week.
Dem biddies.
No 3.18, not again.
Are you ready for tomorrow? What's tomorrow, Bracer? It's not going to be 318. 318 was like bad. Yeah, we're going to have 4.0 and then it's going to be hotfix. Saturday. Oh, you mean Saturday? No, I'm not ready, but we'll see. I'm going to view this with a much more sober look at things. I am not anticipating CitizenCon to be super hype. I'm anticipating, well, I'll rephrase that. I do think that CIG is going to hype the shit out of this CitizenCon, but with what CIG showed off last year, with like right now 60% of it not being in game and likely only 60% of it even being finished, I'm not really looking forward to CIG saying, we're going to do this, and me going, okay, when? You don't know? Cool. Why should I care? Because it could also change between, hey, I'm back in. And I'm back into traveling. Hey, it was deep. I had a hard crash, but I was able to log back in, and I logged in back exactly where I was before. And it fixed my issue with what I was doing. So nice. Something, no plan, survive first contact. Exactly. I'm not like gonna shit on CIG for being excited and showing stuff off. That's their job, and literally a lot of it. This is a lot of their passion project. But it's hard to sit there and say 100% this is great because X, because CIG has already shown that everything they show off at CitizenCon, even if they think it's going to come soon, there's a, coin flip if it's actually going to show up next year or not. So I don't like the odds of a coin flip to get excited about anything. I do think that there's a couple of things we won't 100% have next year, one of which is crafting and base building. Because CIG seems to be very, very interested in that. Everything else, the stuff that looks probably the most easy to do might come in, but like the ships, we saw a lot of ship silhouettes. We still haven't seen all of those ships yet, so. Do I think 4.0 Live will stress login? It might, but I think CIG will smooth that out much better than 318. You been stuck trying to buy pants for 15 minutes? Skill issue. What? We have seen almost all of those silhouettes. Have we? We've seen, I would say about half of them. Oh, it is very dark. Gosh, I couldn't see shit. Finally came in. Okay. Legionnaire is the one that I haven't seen much of anything about. Parts of the silhouettes. Jesus. All right, I don't think you can mistake the fucking jump point. Holy fuck. He is tunnel visioned again? Yes, I am. Tell chat what I see. I'm waiting for the lighting to come back on. I'm trying to refuel before I go through the jump point. No guts, no glory. Why now there's suddenly clouds covering things? There it is. Oh, bright. Very bright. Okay, that's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted, game. Okay, we're just doing this then. What? Game? Let's see what they mean by it was broken. Nah. Not really moving. Yes, I think the jump was just broken for right now. All right. That's enough testing for me. Wait. Yeah, jump points are entirely fucked right now. Oh, chat, it's so funny. Oh, ship it. Oh God, it's amazing. I don't know. It spit me out. So it basically Kirby'd me into it. I saw no real reflections. It just cruised me through on blackness. I couldn't see anything. I didn't even know if I was moving. And then suddenly I got spit out in Stanton. I was like, where the fuck am I going? Hey, Dyer. Question: has CIG nerfed the spawn for Halloween helmets this year? I haven't even bothered looking for them. Possibly. To be fair, it said in the patch notes specifically that, you know, yeah, that this is entirely screwed. Like that the experience is entirely bonkers. Yeah, it's stability and performance. It's stability. It's the testing focus is stability and performance. I will say in general, it's doing okay. It's got some weird jank to it. They even said in their patch notes that it's kind of in a bad position. Sorry, I'm not entertaining this as entertaining this time. If it's anything like my first jump point traversal, it's going to be very disappointing and quick. What else would I get for PTU? All right, y'all. This is going to be a quick one because I was planning on doing a little bit of that. But yeah, generally speaking, CitizenCon is looking like it's going to be experience. I think it's going to be very good for people who are there. Honestly, I think what CIG is putting together for the people who are going to CitizenCon is fantastic. I'm sure it's going to be a great experience, but I'm a little more subdued on my expectations for CitizenCon this year. I don't think we're going to see a tremendous amount of content that's going to be released soon after they've discussed that. So everyone's confirming the bad stability and performance. Not really bad. Performance is fine. Stability is okay. I had one crash to desktop, two crashes to what were they called? Two server crashes that recovered. Like no real hard 30Ks. My performance was average. You know, it got dipped down a little bit every so often, but wasn't bad. You don't say it, chat, but CitizenCon is going to be lit as fuck. I'm intrigued to hear what they're going to say, but I will say it's hard to take everything that CIG says with any sort of significant hype, because most of what we're going to see is now like we're gonna have to suss it out as a community. But I think generally most of what we're going to see is a coin flip if it even makes it in next year. And if it doesn't make it in next year, then you're looking at probably 2 years for its release. So it's really hard to get super invested in an idea that CIG has that could very well either be entirely dropped or entirely changed before it's released. Oh, I think there's a lot of stuff that's coming in next year. Like, I do believe that the base building and the fabrication, I think that stuff's coming in next year. Most of those vehicles that we'll see, ships and vehicles will come in that next year. I also think that a lot of the tools will probably be something they use next year. Starcloth, maybe not. Like the Starcloth, the like character customization stuff, maybe not. The CitizenCon or the Squad 42 stuff, yes, for sure. So the stuff that's beyond Pyro, no, we'll see. Maybe
I'm just an old-fashioned cowboy.
Yeah, 2.4.2 is definitely live tomorrow. I like all the rational thinking now, but in a few days we're all going to be on Hopium. No, I mean everyone's going to be in Hopium. I'm just going to keep this sort of to try to put us in perspective. I'm interested in seeing what CitizenCon brings. I think it's going to be a neat experience. I think we're going to hear a lot of cool stuff. But I also think that, generally speaking, we're not going to... the stuff we're going to see is going to be a lot of ISC plus experience. ISC with a little extra. Because we get to see live demos on stage and that kind of thing. Which is not nearly the same kind of experience as I would have wished we'd have had this time of year. But, yeah. You guys are so hyped, but 4.0 is only 2025. I'm positive. I think you're wrong, Falcos. I think CIG drops 4.0 this year, come hell or high water. I think CIG is planning on IAE. Like, that's their goal, is 4.0 by IAE. I'm curious on how caught up and hyped SQ gets by being at the event. I think he's just going to be very interested in the community aspect of stuff, because he doesn't talk about everything. Yeah, December 31st. No, I think we'll see Star Citizen Live release, 4.0 release around in IAE if CIG manages to pull it out. I don't see them releasing another 3.2.3.x or 2.4.x patch for IAE. I think they're just going to go for it. They can plan, but it's not as but how it looks is not likely. What do you mean how it looks? They're testing 4.0 and they did 2 tests in 4.0 in Evocati. Like, they're doing a test right now. We're not going to see a 3.325. To me, it feels like CitizenCon is going to be an undeserved and an unearned victory lap. Yeah, I think that's the part that's going to be a little more bitter taste in my mouth. But I'm trying not to be a bitter bastard about it and be like, oh, well, you know, Sage is going to show some cool stuff, and this is a lot of stuff that people have worked really hard on a long time, and it might be fun when it comes out. it's just hard to not say in 3 years. No, I think CIG is gonna. I don't think CIG is going to trickle this out. CIG was pretty convinced they were going to release it in the summer, and then they only pulled that back last minute, like a couple of weeks before they started doing 3.24. So CIG still seems to be very confident in releasing it in 4.0 in quarter 4. So I think it's going to go live. Yeah, there's no reason to trickle it out when players are going to break the servers day one anyways. Like, you're never going to get the same level of absolute shellacking that they're going to get when it goes live. It goes live, everyone's going to be rushing on to play it. It's going to break and will probably barely be playable the first couple days it's out, and then they'll do some hot fixes here and there to make it a little bit better, and then they'll release it. Doesn't have to be live by IAE in order for CIG to have kept their word, AstroPub. I'm not saying that for them to keep their word. I'm saying I think CIG's goal is IAE because that's what they want to get it out. Because Polaris. CIG is just to be honest about 4.0 release and say it'll be rough. CIG won't say it's going to be rough until they know it's going to be rough. There's no point in saying anything until they know more information. Going to be worse than 3.0 launch? In some ways. In other ways, it's going to be better. I think performance is going to be generally the same as what we have now. So that's going to disappoint people a lot, is that you're going to see generally the same level of performance, which is pretty for servers and players. But you will see more players. And I think one of the reasons why CIG wants to get 4.0 out by IAE is because IAE is a free flight event. So if they're doing a big free flight, they want to be able to show free flight people the new content. And they like the servers will implode. Like the free flight will break CIG. And they want that. They want the servers to be non-functional at IAE because they want to get as much data as possible for that sort of thing. Isn't that stupid if 4.0 is super bugged? How is it stupid? I feel like there'll be less client performance though. Not sure how they're doing on that front. It's about on average. About on par. Yeah, I think CIG wants that though. Because if CIG manages to find all the weak spots and shore them up, they get another big boost test with IAE free flight, and when they get that big boost test with IAE free flight, it might be better than they thought, it might be worse than they thought, but they get an idea of what's going on and they can continue to hot fix because they get that high number levels that they're looking for. From a data perspective, it's very smart. From a publicity perspective, it's dumb as fuck. CIG doesn't give a fuck about publicity right now. They care about data. It's clear, and it's one of my problems with CIG at times is I think that they're so technically focused that they completely kind of throw marketing and PR out the window because that's the community team job. Just let them deal with it. It's like that's not their job. Other people need to do it, but. At the same time, I think in this situation, it's a smart move, even from a PR perspective. Because if players come in and are immediately like, this is awful, I hate this, then those people were never going to play Star Citizen anyways. But every free flight is bad. Every free flight is the worst experience you can have in the game, and it still gains people. People will be shocked. Well, some people will be flabbergasted if 4.0 is out with Pyro and Stanton and whatever, hundreds and hundreds of people playing in the game, in the server. You know, even if it sort of doesn't work, people will go, damn, this is ambitious. And it, you know, you can see where it's going. That's always been the case with free flights. And this would be the most ambitious free flight that I've ever done. You missed my reply of what? I say to myself, I find it awesome when 4.0 comes out. It's going to be incredible, and when they can do all the PR and marketing stuff, the BS they want. Even now, I'm constantly seeing new people from the rest of the community. It just sounds, when the rest of the community sounds super jaded. Oh, I'm very jaded. I'm very, very jaded. Oh. But I'm also trying to look at it in the perspective of how am I going to tell the new people who come in 6 months that everything they saw at CitizenCon isn't coming this year? You know, when we hit March of next year and all we have is 4.0 functioning better now. And people are like, well, I can't wait for base building to be in. When's that coming out? Like the end of this year? Like you know, like August or September? No, like December. You know, like to watch the life be drained out of new backers' eyes as they realize that CIG moves in glacial periods. No, I get it. I know what you're saying, Dracon. But 4.0 is important because it represents them getting the base foundations done and then building off these foundations for all the gameplay stuff. But everything sorted ready for the InfoRunners live show? No. We were going to do a test today, but X and Algrid are having too much fun out in they're going to all these events and hanging out and talking with people, so they were unable to get everyone together. So they're gonna instead they decided to ruin my plans of playing MechWarrior clans. So, and then they said, "Oh no, we don't have to do that. Then we'll just do it on Friday." And I'm like, "Fuck you! I'm not gonna do it on Friday." Because if I have to do it on Friday, I'm not gonna be fucking sleeping, and that's not okay. I need sleep if I'm gonna be entertaining. So. Who knows? The server meshing was the last Jesus tech. Now the floodgates open. Yeah, that's sort of true, honestly. There's really no other tech that touches this much of the game other than the dynamic economy, and it doesn't really touch this much of a game. It only really touches the missions. So, Star Sim is what it's called now. Yeah, it's sort of important, but it's not nearly as important as server meshing is, because it's just literally everything runs off of it. Wait, where did 4.0 touch you? I got violated by a jump point, thrown through darkness, and then ended up in Stanton. I didn't even get the cool effects going through the jump point. You think we'll see any aliens like xenomorphs? Hell yeah. CIG, Chris Roberts is too much of a fan of aliens to not do that. Yeah. To be fair, they knew that certain jump points were broken this tech preview, or this tech preview, this Evocati patch. So it was me doing something that they specifically said, it probably won't work. There was a lot of hybrid service issues with this patch, with this test. So I'm sure they'll look back and fix them after CitizenCon. They're not going to get a deal to use aliens. They'll create their own legally distinct xenomorph. The real Jesus tech is AI finally starting to talk to each other. I couldn't hear it because I was streaming while I was playing it, but some people were saying they were doing that in Pyro. The AI were talking to each other in the stations. So. Yeah, the AI have been rezzing down AI for a while now. But they do res down players. She just needs a Timu alien, exactly. I used to be an adventurer like you and I took a bearing to the knee. The real Jesus tech were the friends we made along the way. Indeed. Indeed. Paul, I suspect we'll be in 4.0 till funding goals are met and then released for 4.0. Wow, we have an all-time low for this week. Whew. I say all-time low. They made $2 million. They made $100,000 today. Tomorrow, though, 1 billion AUEC. Another give them more money until it's 1.0. That's fine. You shouldn't give them more money than you than buying a starter pack. It's all you need. Oh, Zeus sale? You think there's gonna be? Oh yeah, because they're releasing it tomorrow, right? Am I gonna check out Astro Creation Alpha 2 next week? I there's too many things, probably not. Fucking amen. You don't have to buy anything but a starter pack. Anything you buy beyond a starter pack is a waste of money. Because any ship or vehicle you purchase is never worth the money you purchase. You can always get it probably cheaper and easier in game, even in the release. I didn't listen. I wasted $1,000. Now I deeply regret it. Hey, CitizenCon today? Nope. CitizenCon is going to happen this weekend. This is just sort of the last chance I have a chance to run an office hours to sit here and just talk about CitizenCon and Star Citizen before we hit CitizenCon itself. So we'll be live at CitizenCon at 4 a.m. Eastern. That's right. We're going to go live at 4 a.m. Eastern. And we're going to talk for kind of the pre-show, and then we're going to be streaming CitizenCon from 4 a.m. all the way until the end of the show, which is around 1 p.m. Eastern. And then after that, we'll be on talking with a couple other people and that kind of stuff for maybe an hour or two after that. And then we'll log off. Yeah, UK time zone is BST. I'm going to be streaming your broadcast to your dad in the hospital room. The nurse is going to be so confused. They need to make stuff expensive enough in game that people are pissed on release. Broheim, people are going to be pissed on release. No matter what you do, you can never make the ships that people purchase with actual cash feel like that they're worth the money that they were paid for. Never going to happen. Some people will start day one, hour one, and they will steal somebody's capital ship and claim it as their own. Like, I paid the cost of a bullet to your head to get this capital ship, and they will fuck off, find a way to make it their own, and then fly it around. Congratulations, you've been played. Where's the Polaris? IAE. That's when it's coming out. Beans on toast time. Honestly, so stoked for CitizenCon. Never been this excited. I'm glad to hear that. Don't let my cynical ass keep you down about things. If you're excited about something at CitizenCon, be excited about it. Just always keep in the back of your mind that what you're seeing is CIG working on something. Whatever they say it's going to release, it's probably not going to, or just assume it's just a generous guess and not going to release at the time they say it is. If your 600i was updated and more importantly, you can explore and scan, I'd be satisfied with my purchase. It's all about getting what you paid for. You're probably going to be able to get scanning and stuff like that in with 4.1, would be my guess. I do think that's like March, April of next year, we're going to see a big scanning update. My biggest anticipation is Squadron. I think Squadron is big, and that's what I was going to say. Like, I wanted to kind of be clear because when we got rated and other people donated and stuff like that, I wouldn't be spending my like precious time, my precious like meager time that I have writing a primer for Squadron 42 to release next week. Like a lore primer for Squadron 42 to release next week, if I wasn't anticipating CitizenCon being a good show. Because I'm like, I need to fucking write this, I need to record it and edit it and release it around the same time as this show comes out, because people are gonna start asking about the fucking game. So what's Squadron 42? I need a primer. Just to give people the context of the universe. Because I have little faith that CIG will have any sort of context around lore or anything else like that. I think CIG is going to market heavily into the cast and crew and maybe some general ideas of like the story vibes, but I do not expect CIG to let people know about the universe outside of world building in the game. Yeah, it's gonna be on the Historian channel. Maybe you know any news about the Apollo? The Apollo is being worked on and then paused because they don't have the drone tech done yet. Speaking of 4.x, what are you expecting for the first few dot patches? I expect at least 4.0.1 or 4.1 to be like whatever they can't get into 4.0, or to be just a collection of things that they add in to improve the patch, improve the game before they go to off on break at the end of the year. And then the first patch of next year, 4.1 or 4.2, whatever it's called, is going to be, I think ambitiously, it's going to be Nyx. I think realistically it will be the new scanning system, the new quantum system, and some of the stuff we see from CitizenCon. Not a lot, but a few things. And then in June, we'll probably more realistically see Nyx being added, and a bunch more stuff from CitizenCon. And then we'll hit August of next year, and I think it really depends on when Squadron's releasing. Because if Squadron's releasing in June of next year, I think that's probably all we'll get. But Mark Hamill gonna show up? Not a clue. I'm eager to hear about Dress to Kill segment, cautious optimism. Yeah, I think a lot of it's going to be how armor and other things like the utility armor they've been talking so much about. Can they do Squadron 42 Chapter 1 for demo for us to play? Not a clue. I think they would, but yeah. Okay, but Paul, I'll buy it. What's Check's notes? Squadron 42 and what happened to the other 41? That's part of the mystery of Squadron 42 is what happened to the rest of the squadrons. I could tell you, but then it would be a spoiler. I honestly don't think Odin is coming out that quickly. I think Odin will release probably a patch or like a patch cycle after Squadron releases, because they probably won't want to have some time to work on Odin to make it updated for 2955 and beyond. Because what the Odin we're playing in is at the earliest, or at the latest, at the earliest 2945. So like 10 years before. I agree. I've been a big proponent of a Squadron 42 playable demo, even in a limited state, for years now, and I hope that whatever demo they have of the floor of Squadron of CitizenCon this year for Squadron ends up in the hands of players. But I could also be wrong, and that there is no playable demo on the floor. But I think it will be. I just love that they roll out 50 procedural systems all at once. Not gonna happen. With only procedural jump space stations, no planet landing zones. Yeah, not gonna happen, unfortunately. Ranger when CIG figure out after CIG figures out wheeled physics. Once they figure out wheeled physics and they improve the wheeled physics design, and they release another motorcycle that isn't the Ranger, so they can test it with, because they're bored and no one wants to have to pick up the old design of the Ranger. Then they'll release the Ranger begrudgingly after saying it'll take us 3 months, and it takes them 9 months to release it. So 2027. Even if there's a demo on the floor, I wonder if the rest of the community will get the demo. They need to, they'll need to scrub for leaks first. Not just for leaks, but a bunch of other things as well. The day the Cracker comes out is the day I expect Paul to release the greatest lore video of all time. CIG needs to give me some fucking story for me to do that. I need more lore. And I'd be okay with CIG releasing the lore in game, if I can go to it. What do I think it'll be, Squadron 4.0? IAE. I think that's what the eternal goal is IAE. Unless something goes incredibly wrong, I don't see it missing IAE. Because IAE is typically Thanksgiving in the United States, and that is going to be I want to say the 25th through the 29th of this year. So, of November. It is currently the third week of October. So they will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks for it to go from Evocati to live, which isn't impossible, especially if they have expedited it, because that would be 5 weeks, 7 days each. $32 weeks, which is just under their typical amount. I bet they shelved the G12. Why? It's the 28th this year. Yeah, but they need to have, if they're going to have it for IAE, they need to have it released the week before IAE with all of the IAE stuff added. So probably more like, they'll probably have to release it on like the 13th of November. So in like a month for them to get that done. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like everything that CIG has said has seemed to indicate that 3.24.2 is their 4.0 hack. So they're testing all of the backend services with 4.0, so that all they have to deal with 4.0's release is dialing in the server numbers, checking for stability of things, making sure for like things like the mission systems are functioning properly, and then like they can have stuff that's broken. Like they can have pyro missions that just don't work. They can have sections that just you can't go to because we already have that now, and they can fix those later. Gotta think they're gotta think two. They've been testing server meshing too, so hopefully we'll see an IAE patch launch. Yeah. You already forgot about the G12. People paid for it, so I'm. This is one of those things that CIG has no excuse for. Their vague excuse is that wheeled vehicles suck ass right now, and CIG has been trying to make physics on wheeled vehicles work better, and they just haven't. So, what if they show boarding gameplay? Not gonna happen. That is such a back burner issue right now. Were you guys having some random people to encounter in game? I mean, I think mostly what you're going to see is a lot more increase in NPCs. So, not necessarily people. You'll definitely see more people. You'll probably see more NPCs, if anything. We've got a fairly decent boarding gameplay right now. Hacking will help out a ton. And then a little anvil asswart hacker ship thing is looking promising. I don't think that's going to happen until next year at the earliest. Building interiors, at least on the 1.0 panel. I could see it on the 1.0 panel. I could also see it in the Genesis panel. This is part of world building. I could also see them talking about it in the Beyond Pyro panel. Because I have a feeling that we're going to see the scanning gameplay in the Beyond Pyro panel as well. I hope Squad 2 story is really good. It's okay. Like, you're not going to... It's not revolutionary. God, I hope scanning is soon. They've been working on scanning, and they've been talking about it in monthly reports for like 5-6 months now. It's been a major focus in their testing, so it's clear that that's the next thing that's being added after 4.0. So, and without scanning, you can't get investigations or bounty hunting missions, and there's a couple other things that need to happen there. So. Will I cry like I did during the Notebook? Possibly. I mean, CIG is not above pulling the card that is the card you can, or the cheap cards that can play for shock value and or emotional manipulation. If you had to put money on seeing one new system other than Pyro and Nyx, which is it? Castra. Castra has a jump point to Nyx and to Pyro. So it has a link to both Pyro and Nyx. It is 2 planets. It is a tiny system. It is a UEE controlled system, so it's a break from the outlaw sort of thing. It has its landing zone Sherman is built out of multiple generations of old building styles. So basically all of the building styles that CIG's been wanting to do, the different architectures they've been trying to develop, all of that architecture is going to be at Sherman. So it would allow them to build those pallets out for Sherman and then reuse those pallets for building designs for anywhere else in the UEE. It also is built above the cloud layer. So it has some more like visual appealing stuff to it. So Magnus is okay. Magnus would require a little bit more work, I think, because it's got a lot of garbage. And also it's not as intriguing because it's Hurston. We already have a garbage planet. It's Hurston, but fucked up. Like the like landing zones are more fucked up. Terra is not going to come out until the 1.0 release. That'll be the system that will release at 1.0. You have a Magnus tourism board cap 2030. Is that the place that has the really girthy cannons? Yes, the 2 fuck around and find out cannons. 2 surface to orbit anti-capital ship guns built to attack a possible invasion by the Xi'an. Orbital Mac cannons. Anti-interest guns. These things are designed to like fuck up a Bengal. Yeah, surface to orbit. I like to joke that they're called fuck around and find out, or whatever that is in Latin. I like that super cool ion cannon from Empire Strikes Back. Of course, it's going to be something similar to that. They're also ancient. These emplacements were built when Sherman was first built, so we're talking like the 27th century. We're currently in the 30th century. So these would be like the equivalent of looking up at a recreate or like still active cannons from the Napoleonic era, if that. Wonder if we could ever see orbital bombardment gameplay? Possibly. 40K lore or Star Citizen lore? Which do I like more? I'm going to cop out, but I'm going to say Star Citizen lore is more fresh and more interesting. There's a lot more depth to Star Citizen lore, but there's a lot more possibilities with 40K lore because you can literally tell a story, any story in 40K, in the 40K universe. There's an entire series of novels set in the 40K universe that's just detective novels, like noir detective novels. You could do romance stories in the 40K universe. You could do like classical Victorian style, like Jane Eyre or Great Expectations. Like you could do some romantic literature shit. Like you can do pretty much anything in the 40K universe because it's so vast and big. Is there a concept of Berea landing zone? There's two. One is the classic Berea landing zone, which is, I'll pull it up. And then the other is from the what's it called? The Kraken. So yeah, this is Berea. This is what Odessa looks like. Odessa. It's Odessa. Like this is an Idris right here that they're stripping and that kind of stuff. You can see in the city in the distance. There's some. It's like a rundown industrial city. What in the Drake is going on here? It's Drake's. It is literally Drake's, like headquarters. So it makes sense. And then you've got. This is the assembly plant on Odessa. So you can see it's like a trench that they're building the dry dock for building the Kraken. But there's only two. Compare that to Castra, to Sherman, which has 7 concept art pieces of just Sherman. Oh, might be 4. Maybe more than that. It's between 4 and 7. Like very few like landing zones get even a single concept art piece. Like Sherman has 4, minimum 4. So that tells me that Sherman is almost certainly like in the contention. Which system had Spider? Cathcart. I just downloaded 4.0. I'm going to see if it's still active. Slow internet connection. It should still be up. It was up for a little while ago. It's over? Okay. You didn't miss much. Like, there was so many things wrong with the hybrid service that you could barely get out of your... I flew around and managed to jump to one location and jump through a jump point, sort of. You saw it. If I can get a moon or a planet in the same system, I'd be happy. Terra's been one of my favorite planets for years now. Not a visit, we're stuck in an elevator the whole time. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they run it again tomorrow. It didn't feel like it was a good stress test with all those problems. Gibbs Space Texas. Oh yeah, I could see that too. I'd love to join Evo. I'm retired, so I definitely got my time on my hands. So it was a time in Star Citizen anyway. Reach out to like the people in testing chat. I saw my Delft travel server to server. It was very interesting. It was the number change. I got dropped out immediately. So, what's your thoughts on the next systems and timeline? Once 4.0 is out and Pyro is in, the system's backend should allow any number of star systems to come online, just a few to start. The issue isn't necessarily the systems; it's content. So that one new system per quarter or something like that, at least to start with. Because the issue is more content. So, like, they could probably, like, with the systems in place, in theory, they could generate 1,000 systems and just drop them in for players to use. But they won't, because CIG doesn't want that experience. They want an MMO theme park experience with some sandbox kind of elements. Which, sort of is a change, but you know, it is what it is. And so CIG is definitely going to be pulling back on, they're not going to just drop a bunch of stuff in for players to go fuck around in a sandbox. They're going to want factions or mission givers or some sort of element that ties it into the wider universe, especially since all of these systems have in-depth lore and backstories and stuff like that. Most will be, some will be like more, will be more like free than others, but that doesn't mean they won't be entirely empty. No more quantum simulation. There's still going to be a quantum simulation. They call it Star Sim. But it's going to be running the back-end services in terms of like allowing for the fluctuation of prices. You think they'll need to push content in every single system? Yes. Or will they like have some barons that have content bled out over made systems through missions? They're going to be, every single system is going to have content, factions, reputation. Some of it will be more freeform than others. That's what I gather. Question: do you mean testing? Do you mean testing chat or Spectrum? Testing chat. Spectrum can work as well, but testing chat, you're going to get the more immediate response. So the idea is still the same, but most of the players will still not understand when it comes out. Yeah, you won't notice it. Are the quantum virtual NPCs still part of the system as far as Star Sim, as far as you know? Yeah, as far as I know. There are a few frontier systems, but almost nothing going on, but they're close to Vandal space. Yeah. There are systems that are almost entirely barren, but no system's going to be entirely barren. There'll be an outpost here and there, a small faction. One of the overarching factions will have a presence there, like Citizens for Prosperity, some, you know, syndicate or gang may have a kind of a position there. CIG is going to make it so that every single asset and reputation and everything they use, like Ninetales will be outside of Stanton. There won't be forever outside of Stanton, but there'll be probably a few Ninetales factions which will show up in Pyro or in Magnus. Same with the Dusters, so you're going to have factions which will just be sort of everywhere or in some locations. So you're going to have, there'll be very few system specific locations, and those will be like hero locations. And so those things will still be around, but those are a lot less intensive than building a landing zone and a mission chain. They're just going to be background NPCs, as it were. Yeah, hideouts, abandoned facilities, failed colonies. Yeah, exactly. But there will still be things there. And CIG won't just be like, system is generated, go have fun, because that's just not how they work. I think as they get used to their new Genesis tool, you'll see them do it faster and faster. Like, from what I can gather based off of what the description is, and we'll know more on Saturday, but it seems like what their Genesis tool is going to do is allow them to build creatures and locations and planets much faster. Less bespoke, more generated. And gangs in different systems will be dynamic, so the power balance could change over time as story matures. I mean, I think that was the original plan for sure. They wanted a more dynamic universe. Uncharted systems will be barren potentially. You won't see Uncharted systems until well after release. They might do that to an extent eventually, so we'll have stuff to discover and claim. CIG won't do that initially, though. That's going to be a down-the-line thing. Hey, Mad Hatter. Base building tier 0 should be in asteroids or space, would be simpler than planet's terrain. Not with their current tools. They built a bunch of tools that allow them to do what they need to do, so. Will there be player protection forces for hire? Like what? Like protection against players or players that you can hire? Because there already is. They're mercenary companies. They're around. Are you going to go into base building in a big way? Nope. Maybe around some ruins. Not really. I mean, I think the most we'll do is build. I'll probably build or have the org help me build like a museum, like a base of operations for the league. But we're definitely not going to be. Definitely not going to be going into huge construction. I'm an entrepreneur. All right. Question. I thought you meant testing chat on Spectrum. Is there a different one? No. Testing chat on Spectrum is what I'm talking about. So there's testing chat on Spectrum, and then there's Spectrum chat. There's Spectrum itself, like the Spectrum hosts for testing, I believe. So testing chat on Spectrum, but if you're, if someone else said, if you're a concierge, message and see if you can get access to Evo that way. The Lore Museum and Satellite Museums, exactly. Walker was joking that Evo isn't a real Evo. And there is an ETF real chat testing. Yeah. Paul is the new British Museum to a degree. Barren systems are easier, but that still takes time, and the known systems should likely will come first. Yeah. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I would think unexplored systems would be easier to do than explored systems because they don't need to make any outposts or landing zones. You can just use the planet texture procedure, generate them, have some planets and moves, and then they're done. That is true, but 1,000 systems does not make a game. Ask No Man's Sky. Ask Starfield, right? Like the reason why those games, or at least No Man's Sky, got better over time was because they added tools. Those tools to help you explore, and it was built around the idea that No Man's Sky itself was a sandbox. Star Citizen is not a sandbox, not in the traditional way. CIG has been talking more and more as if they keep calling it, they don't use the word theme park, because if they used the word theme park, they would trigger too many people. They've been saying, making Star Citizen an MMO. That is their quotes, making Star Citizen an MMO, okay? That's in quotes, or more like an MMO. And what that means is more quests, more factions, more grinding, more like raids and events, all of which are not really sandbox. They're more, objective based. So if that's the case, I would not see CIG putting a bunch of barren systems for people just to fuck around in, because that would just lead to more work for them down the line. Because they have no clue what they're going to want to do with that, because they don't have those systems in place. It would be like a sandbox without any like tools to build in your sandbox. Each system has a history and a purpose, and they're all part of telling a bigger scale. Yeah. This wasn't clear. I apologize. Apologies. NPC protection for hire to protect against other space gangs. Yeah, they probably will. They've been working on some of that system recently. I don't think we'll see it in CitizenCon, but it's probably not anytime soon. And when I have multi-crew where my buddies can help me playing while they're on their phones, I don't know if that'll ever happen. Normally, once it hits wave 1, I'm hardly ever on live servers. The only reason why I'm here now is to find this damn mask. I want to be able to chase bounty through a jump gate. I mean, it's going to eventually happen. All right, y'all. It is well past my bedtime. I got to start getting to bed at a reasonable hour. Thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging out while I stared at the screen for a while. I will be back tomorrow. I don't know if we're going to be doing it live or if we're going to do a pre-record, but I will be doing the CitizenCon expectations with the info runners. So check that out. And then I will not be streaming on Friday, because on Friday, I'm going to do the minimal amount of work I need to do to get stuff done for CitizenCon, or before and after CitizenCon. And then I'm going to fucking bed. And then I'm going to wake up at midnight my time and get everything ready to go for 3 a.m. Eastern, or 3 a.m. Central, so 4 a.m. Pacific, 4 a.m. Eastern, to stream CitizenCon for the entire weekend. Thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging out. And like I say every night, hope to see you someday in the black.